Hey, this is Average Joe running. 5 tips, things you shouldn't do before you run or when you run. Never carbo load with fettuccine alfredo right before a race.
Fettuccine Alfredo. Time to carbo load. Oh, Alfredo sauce. I'm getting a stitch. Ah, God.
Thanks, Michael Scott. I'm kind of weird about my shoes and how they fit, so I'll stop occasionally and retie. But you gotta figure every shoe out that you have, and I have lots of them, how they fit and how they need to be tied. All right, let's keep going. All right, we're doing 5 tips because we're doing 5 miles. So we're about a quarter mile away from the next tip. Okay, for those beginner runners, tip number 2, don't go out too fast. Start out slow, build up some miles under your legs, and learn to enjoy running. Taking the views. Once you get a good solid base, then sign up for a race, whether 5K, 10K, and then eventually maybe a half marathon. Tip number 3. Tip number 3, hold the camera up higher. Always be aware of your surroundings, especially in traffic. Cars aren't going to see you. If you're running at night, make sure you got bright clothes and blinky lights. I don't like to listen to music because it distracts me. And I'm afraid I'm not going to hear things. Plus, I like to go out to run, not to think about anything, because I got to use my brain all day at work and problems and issues. And when I got to run, I just like to hear my feet going and think about where I want to go and how many miles and all that good stuff. So be aware of your surroundings, stay safe. You're always going to find places you like to run. Explore new places. You'll learn a lot about where you live. Even if you live there a long time, you're going to find places that you've never been. I always like just going and seeing how far I can go and places I can find. Got to retie my shoes. Sometimes a lot during the run, sometimes no times. But I'm kind of quirky and I like my shoes to fit while I'm running and not slip. I got a right foot that's smaller than my left foot, so it always tends to slip a little bit more. But You'll find out when you get running shoes. Some will fit good, some won't. You just got to learn how to figure out that shoe. All right, tip number 4. Maybe not such a tip, but for mile 4, running isn't always going to be fun, but after you're done running, you always feel good. Just embrace the fact that you're probably going to eat some bugs along the way. You're going to sweat. You might have some bodily function issues occasionally, but running's fun other than all that. All right, bonus tip. Eventually you'll want to get a GPS watch to track your miles, and how many miles you have in each pair of shoes and all that good stuff, because you're going to change your shoes in and out. But when you stop to cross the road, you have to stop your watch. Make sure you start it back up when you start running. I've run a lot of miles where I didn't start it, so yeah, I've been in races where people have a shirt that says, "If I fall, please stop my Garmin." So some people are really have to know about their miles. I'm kind of one of those kind of guys. I like to know how many miles I have in and how many miles I've run for the month. I keep track of all my shoes, how many miles each pair has. Because again, your shoes will wear out. You don't want to be running in shoes that are wore out, because that'll ruin your stride and you'll get aches and pains from it. They suck. Well, actually, I enjoy running up hills sometimes. I seem to go faster up hills. It's easier for me to run up hills than it is down hills. But some people hate up hills. And at about mile 12 in a half marathon, or mile 18 in a marathon, sometimes they'll suck. All right, mile 5, tip 5. Find a group of friends or somebody you like to run with. Running with someone else always makes the run go faster and feel easier. I run with my sons, my wife. I got friends that I run with at work. When you're in a race, a half marathon or whatever, run with people. You get to learn to know people, and it's a great community. You'll see people there, you're like, I never would have thought they were runners. But like me, I hated running until about 8 years ago. I got a pair of shoes and started running and fell in love with it. Now, like 40 pairs of running shoes later, and lots of miles for me. Why'd you start running? I made a bucket list in 2008, lost a lot of weight, put on there I wanted to run a marathon someday, and then never did anything until 2015 when my youngest son Benjamin, his girlfriend's dad got him running, and I'm like, yep, I want to do that too. Saw him run his first half marathon, so 3 months later I was running a half marathon. Running's a lot of fun. It hurts too, but overall, you know, it's a sense of accomplishment. Helps me clear up my head after a busy day at work, and gives me something to look forward to sometimes. All right, we might have some thoughts later, but we're gonna cross the finish line here. This is where we finish all of our runs, and this is the finish line. Ever since I started running, wherever I started from, when I'm running around my neighborhood, I always have to finish at the finish line. It's kind of an OCD thing, but I always come down, whether I pass my house, I pass the finish line, or come down this way. All right, 5.22 miles in the books. It was pretty good tonight. Didn't hurt too much. I'm getting back in because I got a half marathon in about 3 weeks that I really haven't trained too hard for, but it's only a half marathon. So remember, if you haven't run before, you want to get into running, go out and get yourself a decent pair of shoes. Go to the running store. I would say get 2 pairs of shoes so you can rotate them. And go out there and have some fun. Don't overdo it. Get yourself started. Remember, find other people that enjoy running and go running with them. You can find running groups on Facebook and those kind of things, or just if you know people at work that like to run. And get used to people telling you crazy when you say, I'm gonna go out for a 5 or 6 mile run tonight. They'll call you crazy, but hey, my fun is other people's torture. One bonus tip: if you're running a 5K or a 10K or half marathon, whatever the distance, don't believe people when they tell you you're almost there. And it's all downhill, because it's not. So if you like this video and you want to run or learn how to run or start running, or you're an average runner or a good runner, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Average Joe Runs.